Logan is about to fight an enemy I haven't seen since the late 80s. Yes, the Berlin Wall was still standing. And I just aged myself incredibly because some of you guys are sitting there saying, what's the Berlin Wall? My name is Dorian, this is SCM Comics. We are starting our coverage of Wolverine with number 1. So the story starts off in the Northern West Territories in Canada. Why? Because this is a Wolverine book. And we have this pack of wolves running through the woods like wolves do. And the pack leader is like, you know what? I led this pack through good times and bad times. Right now is the best of times, and it's all because of this newbie. His shape wasn't right, his smell was strange, but we are thriving. And as we turn the page, we see it's Wolverine, who is naked as hell. Like, I know he's tough, I know he's hairy. Come on, man. It's like northern Canada, in the snow, wintertime. How? Why? And on the next page, we see he's being hunted by Cyber. That's right, Silas Burr. Now, the first time I saw Cyber was Wolverine number 81, and that came out in 1988. Your boy was 8 years old at the time. Now, I'm sure I've seen him after that, but this right here, this cover just stood out to me. Like, there's some covers that just kind of stand out to you and just live the test of time, even though you've read probably thousands of comic books. But yeah, I remember this cover distinctly. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Cyber, he is somewhat like Wolverine. I mean, he has a healing factor. That's why he has adamantium skin. He was able to survive the whole bonding process. But it's not like Wolverine or Sabretooth. But it is there. Because of that healing factor, he's been alive for like over 100 years. And he was also Wolverine's commanding officer in one of the wars. I mean, Wolverine has pretty much been in them all, but yeah, one of the wars, he was his drill sergeant, not officer, drill sergeant. That's what he was. He's like Sabretooth in a way. He has history with Wolverine, you know what I'm saying? He wants to hunt him down and kill him, but you know, Wolverine's too good for him, but he'll never stop trying because that's what villains do. So all of a sudden, he is surrounded by all these Mounties, and they are drawing down on him. And they're like, put down the weapon. And he says to himself, I listen to him because, you know, I'd rather kill with my hands anyway. So one of the Mounties like, we're investigating rumors of a naked man running around with some knives. So the Cyber's like, oh, you looking for the runt? Me too. Your only problem is you ran into me first. And he starts getting to it. So now we cut to Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler. He is looking for his old friend Wolverine. Now, when Wolverine wants to go off the grid, he goes off the grid. And, you know, this is nothing new. But Kurt feels like this time is different. And he really wants to find his friend to try to protect him from himself. But as he's walking to try to find Wolverine, he bumps into the Mounties that had the unfortunate luck of bumping into Cyber. So Nightcrawler's thinking to himself, did Wolverine do this? And speaking of Wolverine, he comes out of nowhere, still naked as hell, and damn near takes Kurt out. Like, if Kurt didn't have his reflexes, he'd have been done. Something else he has, he can teleport. As Wolverine goes to strike him, all you hear is BAM! So now Wolverine's claws smells like farts. And he goes, Brimstone, Elf. You know what? This is the perfect time for this. Now, if you want to support the channel, you heard me say the phrase, BAM, now it smells like farts. Well, it's not just a phrase anymore. Now we have merchandise. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, are you seriously trying to sell that? You know what? I'm tired of you. BAM! Why would you do that? Good Lord. Whew. That is comic book accurate. That's what you get, you big-headed son of a BAM! It's not even my universe. Why would you do that? Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Kurt be so proud of you right now. Purchase your BAM, now smells like farts, merchandise today. Links in the description. BAM! Whew! That does stink. So then Kurt hugs Wolverine and was like, I missed you so much. And Wolverine's like, yeah, my head's kind of messed up. You see, he's been living with the wolves for so long, like he somewhat like forgets how to interact like a normal person. So that's why he damn near took out Nightcrawler. So the Wolverine is explaining how he was following the scent of the person that killed his pack that he was with. So on the next page, we see that Cyber did a number on the wolves like he did on the Mounties. And Kurt's like, I'm sorry about your wolf family, but what about your first family? As he hands him the package, Wolverine's like, nope, I ain't about that life no more. I want nothing to do with it. So then Kurt's like, you gotta come back to the X-Men. Wolverine's like, no, I'm done. Every time it seems like we win, we lose. Not only we lose, but we lose badly. And I ain't going through that no more. So all of a sudden there's a scream for help, and Wolverine's like, there's a campsite downhill. It smells like blood, gun smoke, and aluminium. So Kurt hands back the package, and Wolverine's like, the more you want things to change, the more they stay the same. As we see him in his classic outfit. So to save time, Kurt just bamps them down there, so now they both smell like farts. And the campers start to explain how their buddy pretty much got mutilated. So at first the campers thought that they were like Avengers, but once they realized they were mutants, like the whole conversation changed. The mutants are like DEI to like the Marvel universe. Like, you know, you want a superhero, but all of a sudden once you see it's a mutant, you don't want that kind of superheroism. You know, they're pretty much, as Ernie would say on that Fox News bullshit. Like, okay, you feel more comfortable when you see a white male pilot versus a minority pilot or a female pilot, right? Like, they're lowering their standards for pilots. Yes, because that's a good practice. Like, sometimes I think people don't hear themselves, like, speak. Because, like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Well, I'm gonna just lower my standards because filling a quota is more important than human lives. Like, seriously? Like, the X-Men have saved the world as many times as the Avengers or the Fantastic Four, yet and still, because they're mutants, they're looked at in a certain light, you know, because they're homo superiors. That means they think that they're better than you, because technically they are. Anyway, get off my soapbox. Pretty much conversation is about to turn violent when all of a sudden Wolverine gets a whiff of something and tells Kurt to get out the way as he is grazed by a bullet. So Nightcrawler is down. Wolverine has to pick him up as Cyber is busting shots at him. Wolverine gets hit in the arm, but he manages to get Nightcrawler to a cave. He bandages him up, and now he's like, all right, looks like now I gotta deal with this dude. So it doesn't take long for Wolverine to pretty much find this guy, and they get right to it. Like, no mixed words, just right to it. While they're fighting, there's like this thing in this far off cave, and it's also stirring too. Cyber gets a good headbutt in on Wolverine. Like, they're going at it. But then finally Wolverine gets him down. He retracts his claws, and then he proceeds to beat the bejesus out of Cyber. I mean, it is a beatdown of epic proportions. And the only thing that saves Cyber is he starts pulling like a hard. I mean, he's like, if you keep beating me, what about your friend Nightcrawler? He might die if you leave him by himself. And Wolverine has to think to himself, and he's like, fine, and he lets him go. But that was a move. That was strictly a bitch move. Like, I see you, Cyber. I see you. So Wolverine runs back to the cave, and he sees there's this lady with him, and he's like, oh, you took care of him. And she's ain't got like no bedside manner whatsoever. She's like, I'm a fucking doctor. I took a oath. Whether I like you or not, if you're hurt, I'ma help you. So she leaves. Nightcrawler's awake, and he's like, you came back for me. And Wolverine's like, yep, Cyber, he got away. So then we got the Cyber, and he bandages himself up a little bit. He has a healing factor, and it's going to kick in, but it's not like Wolverine's. As he walks into his cave, all of a sudden, he's attacked by whatever was stirring during their fight. All of a sudden, we see that his aluminium is now gold, and he is possessed. And whatever that sentient metal is, does not like aluminium one bit.